Do you know what artist brought the vocalist out of the background into the spotlight? It was Frank Sinatra. According to the Virginia Quarterly Review, Frank Sinatra was born December 12, 1915, to Italian immigrants in Hoboken, New Jersey. He was the only child and was very lonely. Most of the families in his neighborhood were very large families with lots of children. So he was very lonely in that sense, and his parents were extremely busy. His father was a firefighter for the city of Hoboken, and his mother was an amateur singer who also was extremely active politically. In order to win his mother's attention, Frank Sinatra started singing the Star-Spangled Banner at a lot of her political events. He tried to enlist in the military after he dropped out of high school, but they would not take him because he had a perforated eardrum that he suffered when he was a child. He wanted to pursue a career in music because that's what he loved to do. Well, his parents urged him to get a real job. That's what they wanted. They wanted him to have a real job, and were concerned about his desire to pursue a musical career. But when his mother realized that that is what he was really wanting to do, that's where his passions lied, then she supported him. She helped him get into a singing group that was later known as the Hoboken Four. It's a local singing group. And in 1938, helped him land a gig at the Rustic Cabin. 1939, he was recruited by Harry James. He was the band leader in a big band, and stayed with him, performed with him for several months until in 1940 Tommy Dorsey recruited him to sing in his band. And Tommy Dorsey's band was the most popular band at that time. It was a big band. His musical style was unrenowned. It was and it was there when Sinatra really cultivated his singing, and he learned from Dorsey. He learned breath control, and the breath control went a long way with how he held his notes and how he projected all that passion and emotion that Frank Sinatra is so known for. In 1941, he was named Billboard magazine's Vocalist of the Year, and in 1942 he decided to set out on his own because it was time, in Frank Sinatra's eyes, that the singer finally got the spotlight. He started recording music during a musician strike, and he was doing a lot of radio shows, and he was extremely popular, second only to Bing Crosby, who was the #1 at that time. And from 1940 to 1943, he had 23 top 10 singles, and he signed a contract with Columbia Records in 1943. That same year, he debuted at the Madison Square Garden, and he also played the Hollywood Bowl. And when he played the Hollywood Bowl, he got a lot of attention from Hollywood producers, where they were interested in his singing, and asked him to be in several movies. The first one, one of the first was Anchors Away with Gene Kelly. Notable Biographies.com reported that Frank Sinatra was the very first performer that had the swooning fans and the hysterical girls going crazy over him. An example of this was a 1944 October 12th, the Columbus Day riot. He was performing, and there were thousands of fans lined up outside to see him. And when they ran out of tickets and couldn't get all these fans into the show, they started rioting. They started running through the streets screaming, and busting out shop windows and just tearing everything up. They were just going insane. And we see this later on, and with like Elvis Presley, the Beatles, when I was a kid, New Kids on the Block, and Backstreet Boys, that type of thing. The Monkees, another example. He was married several times. His first marriage was to Nancy Barbato. She was his childhood sweetheart, and they had 3 children together, Nancy Sinatra, Frank Sinatra Jr., and Christina. And Nancy Sinatra, they did a duet together, but you'd probably recognize her more by one of her most famous songs that she did, These Boots Are Made for Walking. He was unfaithful to Nancy and had an affair with Ava Gardner, who he later married for a very short time. He had a terrible rep for being a womanizer, and was actually married a couple of more times. He was married to Mia Farrow and to Barbara Marx, and had a laundry list of girlfriends throughout his life. Frank Sinatra continued to perform. He took a couple of hiatuses a few times during his life where he would drop out the spotlight for a couple of years, but he performed the majority of his life. According to NNDB.com, Frank Sinatra died of a heart attack on May 14th, 1998 in Los Angeles. He was performing up until that point and won a number of honors, including 9 Grammys, the Kennedy Center honor, Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and is on the Hollywood Walk of Fame multiple times. As you can see, Frank Sinatra was a very talented and influential man, and his music is still appreciated today by people of all ages. It's best described, the best way to describe Frank Sinatra is one of his most famous songs, the song My Way. Because Frank Sinatra definitely did things his way. Ballroom girls, womanizing, but he still held the hearts of millions. And still to this day, his music is appreciated, and his art has left an impact on everyone. Thank you.
You're over by like 50